be listening. And of course, Shoutcast. We're live streaming on YouTube as well. Thank you for joining us on YouTube and on Facebook as well. Thank you for joining us on Facebook. I am Cindy, and it is Cindy's choice to make a positive impact in our awesome Chattanooga community. And it is Cindy's choice to be brave and make a difference. I have a great guest here today. Thanks for hanging the whole hour with me, Dr. Banks.
Hey, my pleasure. I love it.
We have plenty to talk about, don't we?
Very much so.
I have a great guest joining me to talk about being brave and making a difference. Dr. David Banks is here for the second part of the show. First, a quick shout out to our awesome sponsor, Chicken Salad Chick.
That's right. It's getting lunchtime, so
I'm hungry. I'm actually get to head there for a meeting after. So, and it is Cindy's choice and David's choice
That's
for
right. That's
great
right.
catering options. Check out Chicken Salad Chick, Chattanooga.com. Chicken Salad Chick, Chattanooga.com. And now I'm going to jump right back in with Dr. Banks. We've had a great discussion. I suggest you look up the YouTube for the first part of the show if you didn't get to watch it, where Dr. Banks and I talked about recovering from regret.
Exactly.
And redefining yourself.
That's
and these
right.
are topics that Dr. Banks is focused on and researching right now to recognize ways to help.
Exactly.
And I'm teaming up with him to help spotlight him and bring attention to these issues and direct you his way. That's what I do. I bring them in and direct them. But now we're going to touch on a third. We've been talking about recovery from regret, which is vital. Redefining yourself, which is so empowering and freeing. And now let's talk about kind of where it begins.
Exactly. Very much so.
You talked about it a little bit before, because you talked about how we have a design.
That's right.
We do. We are all designed independently, individually. We're all unique.
That's right.
And recognizing that, and then recognizing that you have a purpose for being here.
Very much so.
And it's very powerful when you discover that.
I know it. And I am so passionate, Cindy, helping people. I've had the wonderful opportunity to help people rediscover their purpose all over the world. And it's so exciting because, like I said, most people, they live most of their life or all of their life through their past. But I help them to understand your purpose came before you ever had a past. That's when I do trainings and when I do talks. I always ask them, when were they born? I never have anybody sit there and like, Dr. Banks, let me think about that. Why? Because we're conditioned to know when we were born. We know our birthday.
Right.
But when it comes to the point of knowing why we were born, that is where you get the blanks there, because most people never thought about that. They know when, but never really processed and thought, well, why am I here?
Well, and this is something I'm recognizing too. And this is why it takes going a little deeper and really finding a way to help the light bulb go off for people, because there's a lot out there in marketing, business marketing platforms and all types of platforms. It's all about what's your story, what's your why. And so people are getting focused on that, but they're doing it in a more, they're not going, you can probably help me explain this. They're hearing that that's what they're supposed to do, but they're not really still getting the purpose and finding your purpose.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
And that's why I call it is discovering it, because I tell people,
yes,
there are 3 layers that everyone is made up of. First is their purpose. That's the first thing they had when they were created. Second is potential. And third is their past. But most of us have flipped that, because most people, if you ask them, tell me something about yourself, the first place they're going to go is where? To their past. So now we've kind of flipped it, where the first thing that we focus on in our lives is our past. Rarely do we know how much potential we got. But then this purpose that's deep down inside of us, very few people ever get to the point of learning how to go. And I love what you said, go to that depth to get that discovered.
Exactly. And, it was survival for me. We talked about the first half of the show where a lot of my survival as a young person, it came through denial. When you're a young child, you can't process everything that's happening to you if you're not in good situations and circumstances. So denial is kind of a safety barrier, but then it causes you issues later,
Exactly.
As an adult. But with purpose, I was kind of, when you go through that kind of trauma and you do not have a healthy network of support, you don't have parental love, parental protection, parental guidance, then those are the types of people that they either find purpose or they commit suicide. And that's a whole nother show to talk about that. But that's what I reached such depths of despair. If I didn't find a purpose and get the understanding of purpose, there's just no telling where I would be right now. And I get full, God chills when I say that, because like I said, I'm a very smart, capable person, but that depth of despair is, I understand suicide. I am so thankful that I understood how to reach for hope, how to focus a different direction and, find that purpose so that I don't have to deal with that. So that's the extreme
that's
of
so
it.
real.
But I feel blessed that I was forced to be the Pollyanna that I am.
Excellent.
I just see, it's like I tell people when it comes time to grow a business, Cindy's Choice will be a business at some point. It's a collaborative effort. So a lot of people have to come on at once. So right now it's just kind of in the, it's in process, but it's a, oh gosh, where was I going with making that happen? We were talking about, I just lost my thought here on live radio, Dr. Banks. I love live radio, but, what was I saying? We were talking about passion. Oh, I was forced.
Yes.
I was forced into it. It became it was survival for me. And what I want to know is, I'm passionate about purpose because of what I've shared with you, where I had to find a purpose. Mm-hmm. It was survival for me, giving me a reason to live, quite frankly. So that's the extreme version of that. So where does it come from? Where did this passion stem for you? Because we're all different. And I think that's what's important. Not everyone's had similar experiences to mine. So they're not going to relate to how I got there. Where did that passion start flickering?
Well, when I help people discover their purpose, the very first question I ask, what do you see in society that burdens you or grieves you when you see it? So when I started thinking about that in my life, well, Cindy, I know what survival is all about. I grew up that way. And when I saw people just stay in survival and stay in their excuses, stay in their past, Cindy, that grieved me tremendously, because I know what it was like when I went through it. So that really kind of started my journey to help me discover my purpose, because I tell people, your inside purpose is a solution to an outside problem.
Say that again.
Your inward purpose is a solution to an outside problem. So since most people don't know what's going on inwardly, I can help find that by really identifying something outward that troubles you and burdens you. So that's how I kind of figure out and start helping them to discover, what do they see? Everywhere I've gone across the country, when I ask that question, as they think, I've never had anybody say, Dr. Banks, I'm clueless. I don't have. Everybody, once they process it, they think, yeah. And I've had people say, children being hurt or taken advantage of, people, because your purpose is a solution. That's why God put all of us here to be on this earth, to be a solution to somebody else.
And you just explained, like, the Cindy's Choice business that I'm working on is a solution.
Excellent.
To a lot of I'm using this platform to share with people, get the attention, kind of demonstrate who I am and what I'm about, and help others, spotlight them that have community initiatives and so forth. But you just said it so well, is I have a solution. And I just had a conversation with the station owner yesterday. And I said, that's what frustrates me about media. There's a lot of ranting about, and their audience is people that follow what they believe, and everybody's just ranting and agreeing with each other. And I said, I want solutions. He totally gets it. Very smart station owner here. That he said that's, and he said that's kind of a woman thing too. And I said, I like that. And but I do. I want solutions, and that's what this is all need, leading toward. That's why I want to spotlight people like you and partner with people like you, because I don't want to just be a megaphone. I don't want to just be on the airwaves. I want the people to connect people to. I want direction to take people. So if they're processing any information, it's Cindy's choice on my show. So I focus on different topics. So if it's what we're talking about now or something business related or whatever it might be, then I want someplace for them, a next step for them to go to toward their solution.
And that's wisdom, Cindy, because sadly, we've just learned how to vent. We're upset with this. We're upset with that. And I always tell people there are problems everywhere.
Exactly.
And there will always be problems, but somebody needs to decide to be a solution.
Exactly. And I'm the type person, I'm verbal. I have to sort out loud, but I've learned something about myself. If I say it out loud enough, I'll hold myself accountable. And that's a lot of the reasons that I love the Nooga Radio Outdoors show that we're doing on Friday evenings now. Very active person. I love mountain biking. I've always golfed, hang glider, pilot. Since I started a business, I've not been active. And I'm feeling it. My cognitively losing my thought on live air. There you go. Cognitively, physically. And I'm like, I've got to get back out there.
That's right.
What better way than to be talking about it every Friday night? And I can already tell, oh my goodness, because I'm the type person, I got to shut up and do it.
That's right.
I can't shut up because I got to talk about it on the radio. So I have to go do it.
That's right.
And I got to keep talking about it too. And that's what we need is to create, keep talking about it. If you don't, especially if you don't recognize, like we talked about in the first part of the show, if you're not recognizing you have an issue, but just something isn't right.
That's right.
Keep talking about it.
Exactly.
Be brave. Talk about it with others. Find circles to talk about it. Find programs. Find great books to read, like Dr. Banks' books, and figure out what it is. Hold yourself accountable.
Very much so.
I love it. I love it. So we're talking about rediscovering your purpose. And there is, like I said, my passion comes from my own personal experience. And I just wanted to tap in with Dr. Banks a little bit. And also,
Cindy, always important for every people that's listening. Everybody has a purpose. That's important. Every individual on the planet has a purpose.
Because there were a lot of people you talked about, you saw a lot of people in survival.
Yes.
What I see is a lot of people just existing.
Exactly.
So some people might not relate to the word survival. I can relate to that word. But some people, they don't really feel like they're just surviving. But they are. They're just existing.
Exactly.
They just go to work. They do their social things. It's just a routine of life.
Exactly.
And it's hard to recognize they're on their way to regrets that they don't realize.
I was thinking the same thing. That's the danger, because most people would say, come on, Cindy, Dr. Banks, I'm a good person. I go to work and do what I need to do. I'm just living safe, living under the radar. But sadly, I've been in this field enough to realize you may think that's all right, but in the end, you're going to look back and be filled with regret.
Exactly. It is. And I'm so thankful that I experienced that at an early age, because I did come out of my youth very damaged, but again, very capable, very confident, extreme work ethic. I was managing these high volume restaurant nightclubs in Dallas, Texas. I was general manager and part owner by the time I was 26 years old. I was managing over 60 employees. I had the hot spanking new Mustang convertible. I had the job and all the popularity. I had the pursuers. I had everything that everyone around me thought wanted and just envied me. And then I remember so well, Dr. Banks, that emptiness inside of This is it. I just could not process what was missing and what was wrong. There was no purpose in what I'd done whatsoever, except just gaining what I thought was going to fulfill me. And it was not fulfilling. And I'm so thankful to have discovered that at an early age, which I said it wasn't, but a few years later that the reality hit me, and I was able to work toward that process of processing, of learning to process what had happened to me and redirecting my life. Great. So I love that. And I love that your purpose is helping these, and it's not just women that you focus on. This particular study is just women, because I got to see Dr. Banks speak at the Ottawa College Jail Council meeting this past Wednesday. And he was awesome in a professional environment. We've still got a few minutes left. So talk about, we've been talking about personal purpose, But talk a little bit about your professional focus.
Well, I think it's important, Cindy, that a person has both of them, really has to make sure personally they're taken care of, but also professionally. And, one of my favorite topics is leadership, because I truly believe, Cindy, we really have conditioned ourselves in a very narrow way when it comes to leadership. I always start off when I talk about leadership is when you're in kindergarten. One of the rules of kindergarten, whoever can get to the front of the line will be the leader, but everybody else has to be the follower. So we've grown up in a culture where there are only few leaders and everybody else have to be followers.
See, I love that. I've always been very respectful of authority, and I've always worked well with the team. Never been a follower.
Wow.
Never.
Excellent.
And I'm so thankful, because now as I'm becoming, I've been a serial entrepreneur. I ran my own construction business in Houston, Texas. When I was here before, I had a clothing business and was very successful, national award-winning salesperson and so forth like that. But it's it's not through leading anything. I've been very independent. And now with what I'm creating, it's like I'm looking for other leaders. I don't want followers.
Excellent.
I'm looking for other leaders. I want them to, what I constantly tell people is, here, I'm going to share my vision. Now, I want you to, I ask them for their vision, then I share my vision. And I'm like, does your vision fit in mine so we can get there together?
Exactly.
And I ran into people that they love my vision, but they want to come in and change my vision. I'm like, no,
can't do that.
We're going to all get there together.
That's right.
And it's so much easier than trying to lead people. Working with leaders is a lot easier than trying to drag people forward. Everything you spoke at the council meeting, I was like, oh my goodness, that I love that. And people need that understanding, because it's working for me. And here I am, started these businesses, started the construction business, very successful with a clothing business and other construction related businesses and so forth. Yet it's, I'm now starting something way bigger than that, all by myself. And it's because I understand that principle of you can do something bigger than you. If you have that person in mind and helping, being, not helping lead them, but you all getting there together.
Exactly.
And I love that.
Well, you're a pioneer, Cindy. You're and I like that. You're a pioneer because, like I said, leadership doesn't start with just managing people, but it really is creating a path. I love the saying, don't go where everyone has gone before. Be willing to create a path where no one has gone before. So, Cindy, what you're doing, it is really creating a path that other people can truly follow and truly be impacted. So
awesome.
Exactly.
And I'm going to get your book as soon as possible, because I'm going to go ahead and put this up here for everyone to see. And this is Dr. Banks' book. It Starts With Me.
There was a collaboration that I came together, a group of leaders. We came together.
There you go.
And we decided, hey, let's write a book on leadership. But, we know people like John Maxwell. There's so many great thought leaders concerning leadership. So we decided, hey, let's write a book strictly on asking questions.
This is awesome. And I love it. It says, courageous questions for the fearless leader's heart.
That's right.
And what did I tell you? My motto is, Cindy's choice is to be brave and make a difference. And that's a great way to wrap up the show. Is none of our virtues, nothing holds up without courage.
Exactly.
Your faith will not hold up. Your relationships will not hold up. Your integrity will not hold up. Nothing holds up with courage. And so it starts there. Change can't happen. Your transformation can't happen. You can't learn not to focus on your regrets and focus on the scary future if you're not brave, so that you realize it's not scary. It's not scary at all. It's a very, very fun adventure. So we're down to about 30 seconds. Thank you, Dr. Banks. You're awesome. My pleasure. I'm already looking forward to having you on again. And I want to show the book again.
And it's at
It Starts With Me.
Amazon or Barnes and Noble.
There it is for the YouTube viewers. And again, I want to remind you are listening to the Cindy's Choice Show, 92.7 FM. And we thank you so much for joining us. That's a wrap.